Let me ask you something first. Do you use AI a lot in your research right now, and are you actually allowed to use it in your department or lab? Because those two answers change how you should approach tools like ChatGPT. Here is the real problem most beginners face. It is not that you are lazy or not smart enough. It is that academic writing has too many moving parts at once. You are trying to read papers, extract keywords for your abstract, build an outline, decide whether a study is qualitative or quantitative, understand a method you have never touched before, maybe something like Western blotting, and somehow turn all of that into clean, credible paragraphs. Then you open a blank document and nothing comes out. That white page feeling is normal, and it is exactly what this video is built to solve. This is a tool review with actions you can copy today. I will show you how to use ChatGPT as an assistant for 10 specific tasks, from brainstorming ideas to refining titles, extracting keywords, outlining, converting reference formats, explaining research methods, shifting to third-person or passive voice, upgrading your academic language, summarizing complex text, and building a realistic writing schedule like 10,000 words in 3 months. And because credibility is everything in academia, we are doing this ethically. I will also show you where Inara fits in as the paper-grounded layer, so you can keep your literature review evidence-based. That means if a claim cannot be traced back to real paper text, it does not go into your writing. If a reference is not real, it does not belong in your reference list. On screen, I'm going to show quick examples and a couple of screenshots, including what journal AI policies can look like, so you can make informed decisions and stay on the safe side. By the end, you will have 10 beginner-friendly prompts you can copy-paste, plus one simple verification rule that protects you from hallucinations and fake citations. Now we get into the practical part, and I want you to think of this as a real tool review you can copy today, not a theory lecture. The workflow has 5 phases, and it is designed for beginners who feel overwhelmed, especially if you are working on a literature review for a PhD or even a first serious research project. Phase 1 is scoping your question so you stop reading randomly. Phase 2 is screening fast so you do not drown in irrelevant papers. Phase 3 is deep verification, so you do not accidentally build your writing on hallucinations. Phase 4 is synthesis, because a literature review is not a summary of paper A, then paper B, it is an argument built across studies. Phase 5 is polishing your writing, so the final output actually sounds academic, especially if English is not your first language. Throughout this whole process, ChatGPT stays in the assistant role. It helps you brainstorm, organize, rewrite, and plan. Inara is the grounding layer. It keeps you anchored to real paper text. That means if something cannot be traced back to what is written in the paper, it does not go into your review. If you only remember one sentence from this body section, make it that. AI can speed you up, but it cannot replace evidence. Prompt 1 is for brainstorming, and this is where most beginners get tempted to ask AI for sources. Do not do that. When you are early in the process, you do not need citations yet. You need a set of researchable directions. You want ChatGPT to generate possibilities in a structured way so your brain stops spinning. Here's the prompt you paste. I'm a PhD physical therapy student exploring a literature review topic in your area. Give me 12 researchable topic ideas. For each idea, include a precise research question, PICO if appropriate, key constructs or variables, target population and setting, and 5 search keywords, including synonyms. Do not cite papers. Do not invent references. When you run this, you will notice something important. The value is not the topic titles. The value is the research question and the keyword set. That is what you will use to search properly. Then you switch to Inara. You pick the best 2 or 3 ideas and open an Inara project for each one, like separate folders in your brain. You start collecting real papers from trusted databases your institution uses. If you do not have a clear database, you can start with the most common ones used in health sciences, but the key is that the papers must be real and accessible, not a citation that an AI made up. In Inara, you are building a grounded reading set, not writing paragraphs yet. And quick note, if you are curious about the tools I mention, I will put the product links below in the description so you can check them later without pausing the video. Prompt 2 actually covers 2 beginner problems that feel separate but are connected. One is refining your title so your work sounds journal ready. The other is building screening criteria so you stop reading everything. Let us start with the title because a good title forces clarity. You can use ChatGPT to refine your title without changing meaning. Paste this. Rewrite this working title for an academic audience. Then it is your title. Produce 10 alternatives in 3 styles. Descriptive, concise, and journal-ready, and conference-friendly. Keep meaning unchanged. Do not cite papers. This helps you see what your topic really is. Once your title is clearer, you move to screening, which is what saves your time. Paste this second prompt. I'm building screening criteria for a PhD literature review in physical therapy on your topic. Create inclusion and exclusion criteria for population, intervention, or exposure, outcomes, study designs, time window, and clinical relevance. Then give me a one-page screening checklist I can use on titles and abstracts. Do not cite papers. Now you take that checklist and you apply it in Anara. When you skim titles and abstracts, you are not guessing anymore. You are deciding with rules. Only papers that pass the checklist go into your core collection. This is how you protect your time and also protect your review from being messy. If you have ever felt guilty because you downloaded 50 PDFs and read none of them, this is the moment where that guilt disappears because your workflow finally makes sense. And again, if you want to try the same tools I am using, the product links are in the description. Prompt 3 is for keyword extraction, and this is one of those tasks that looks small but changes everything. If your keywords are weak, your search is weak. If your search is weak, your literature review becomes biased because you are only seeing a narrow slice of the literature. So the goal here is to extract keywords without letting AI add new concepts. Paste this prompt. From this abstract, extract 8 to 12 search keywords in 2 sets. Set A, broad concepts. Set B, narrow technical terms and measurement instruments used in physical therapy. Do not add concepts not present in the abstract. Abstract paste. This is where you will see the difference between broad terms like rehabilitation, strength training, pain, mobility, and narrow terms like the specific outcome measures, questionnaires, imaging methods, or performance tests. Once you have these keyword sets, you go back into your database searches and also back into Anara. In Anara, you can cluster studies by shared outcomes or instruments. This matters because in physical therapy, 2 studies might sound similar, but they are actually measuring different things, so they are not directly comparable. Keyword discipline helps you avoid that mistake. Prompt 4 is where we get serious about credibility. This is the deep verification lock, and it is also where you can use AI to understand methods without pretending the AI is the source. Beginners struggle here all the time. You see a method section, it looks like another language, and you feel like you are not qualified to write a literature review. That feeling is normal. If you run into a technique you do not fully understand, maybe something like Western blotting, or even a quantitative protocol you have not used, you can ask ChatGPT to explain it for your understanding. But when you are extracting evidence for your review, you should do it inside Anara, anchored to the paper. Here is the prompt you paste into Anara while one paper is open. Answer using only this paper. What is the study design and sample characteristics? What intervention or exposure was tested? Provide dosage and frequency if reported. What outcomes were measured? Name the instruments. What are the key results with direction of effect? What are the main limitations and potential biases? For every answer, quote the exact sentence or sentences and indicate the section where it appears. If something is not stated in the paper, say not reported. This prompt forces honesty. It also forces traceability. If Anara cannot provide quotes or sections, you must manually locate the sentences in the paper. Do not write claims you cannot point to. This is the ethical line. This is how you prevent hallucinations from entering your literature review. And once you start doing this, you will notice your confidence grows because you are no longer relying on memory. You are relying on evidence. Prompt 5 turns reading into building blocks. This is where you stop reading like a student and start reading like a researcher. After you verify a paper, you capture it in a simple structure. Claim, evidence, limitation. Paste this prompt. Based only on the paper text I provide, build a table with 3 columns. Claim what the study suggests. Evidence the data or results supporting it. Limitation, why the claim may not generalize. Do not add new claims beyond the text. Text paste key results and limitations paragraphs. You can do this in ChatGPT if you paste real text, or you can do it in Anara if it supports this type of extraction. The point is, you are not asking AI to invent an interpretation. You are asking it to organize what is already written. Once you have 15 to 25 of these tables from high-quality studies, writing becomes easier because you can see patterns. You can see where studies agree. You can see where they conflict. You can see where the limitations repeat, like small sample sizes, short follow-up periods, or unclear blinding. This is the difference between a beginner literature review and a strong PhD-level literature review. Prompt 6 is where your review starts to become an argument. A lot of people never reach this stage because they stay stuck summarizing. They write paper A says this, paper B says that, and it reads like a book report. Synthesis means you group studies by themes, populations, protocols, outcomes, and quality, then you write the story of the field. Paste this prompt. I will paste notes extracted from multiple physical therapy studies, create a synthesis matrix that groups studies by population, intervention, or protocol characteristics, outcome measures, direction of findings, and quality and limitations. Then propose 3 to 5 thematic sections for my literature review and explain the logic of each. Do not invent any studies or citations. Notes paste. If Anara has a collection feature that lets you chat across curated papers, you can also ask synthesis questions inside Anara, but only accept outputs that remain traceable to specific papers. And here's the quick CTA in the middle, because I know some of you will ask. If you want to test the same tools I'm using, I will put the links for each AI tool mentioned, including Anara, down in the description. You can open them after the video and decide what fits your workflow. Prompt 7 is where we actually write. This is the moment beginners usually fear because they think they are not ready, but you are ready if you have notes. The goal is to write one paragraph that follows a strict structure so you do not ramble. Paste this prompt. Write one literature review paragraph in academic style using this structure. Topic sentence the claim. Evidence synthesis, compare 3 to 5 studies I provide. Explain agreement and disagreement. Practical implication for physical therapy. Gap statement, what is still unknown. Rules, use only the studies I provide in the notes. Do not add new citations. Keep it concise, 150 to 200 words. Notes paste. This is how your writing goes from scattered to credible. You are not asking AI to create content from nothing. You are asking it to help you shape the evidence you already extracted. This is ethical and it is efficient. If you repeat this paragraph process across your themes, your literature review starts to look like something a supervisor can actually respect. Prompt 8 is for outlining, and this is the one that helps when you are staring at a blank document and you feel stuck. You are not stuck because you have nothing to say. You are stuck because you cannot see the structure. Paste this. Create a detailed literature review outline for a PhD physical therapy topic. Include introduction, why it matters clinically. Thematic sections, 4 to 6 themes. For each theme list, sub-arguments, what evidence should appear, and what limitations to mention. Conclusion, synthesis gap, and proposed direction. Ask me 5 clarifying questions first before finalizing the outline. Do not cite papers. When you answer the clarifying questions, you will get an outline that is actually yours, not generic. And this outline becomes your writing roadmap. It also makes your literature review feel less scary, because now you can write one section at a time. Prompt 9 is for language upgrading and voice control, which matters a lot for theses. Many programs prefer third-person, passive voice in certain sections, and a consistent academic tone. If English is not your first language, this prompt can save you hours, but only if you use it ethically. Paste this. Rewrite this paragraph in a more formal academic style for a PhD thesis in physical therapy. Rules keep meaning and all numbers unchanged. Do not add new claims. Keep citations exactly as they are. Output revised text, plus a changelog grouped by grammar clarity concision. Text paste. You should only run this on text that is already evidence-grounded. Do not polish hallucinations into something that sounds credible. This one rule protects your integrity. Also, if you want help shifting between active voice and passive voice depending on your department style guide, you can use the same prompt and just add one sentence telling it to prefer third person and passive voice where appropriate. Prompt 10 is for 2 things that beginners always underestimate: reference formatting and time management. First, formatting. You can absolutely use ChatGPT to convert Harvard to APA or APA to Harvard, but you must give it the reference you already have. Do not ask it to generate references. Paste this. Convert these references into APA 7th. Do not invent missing details. If any element is missing, mark it as missing and list what I should fill in. References paste. That keeps you safe because it is only formatting. Now, time management. If you have ever said, I will write 10,000 words in 3 months, and then 3 months pass, and you wrote 600, you do not need motivation, you need a plan. You can ask ChatGPT to build a realistic schedule with buffers, revision cycles, and daily word targets, then you follow it like training. For example, you can tell it your weekdays and weekend time, and it will map it out. The key is consistency, not heroic all-nighters. Now you have a complete literature review workflow that I have been using, built on 2 principles. ChatGPT helps you think and write, but it does not supply truth. Anara helps you stay grounded in real papers by forcing evidence and quotations. If you apply just one habit from this video, make it this. Every important claim in your literature review must be traceable back to a real paper and a real sentence. If you cannot point to it, you do not write it. One question for you. Which step is your biggest bottleneck right now? Screening papers, deep verification, or writing synthesis paragraphs. Please comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.